Welcome back to Lego Battlebots Season 2. It is finally time for the championship, the final 8 bots battling it out for who claims the title at the end of the day. And we've got some incredible matchups. The 1 seed Sawblaze versus the 9 seed Tantrum, that's a rematch. We've got the 3 seed Bloodsport facing the 6 seed Whiplash of very contrasting designs. The rookie, the 15 seed Manor Ham, looks to take down the channel mascot, the 7 seed Nemesis. But before all of that, the 4 seed Hypershock looks to keep its Cinderella story going against the 5 seed Siege Engine. Starting off with the number 4 overall seed Hypershock. What a run they have been on this season. 4-0 in the fight cards, the first bot to do so, this season at least. And 2 incredibly dominant and incredibly quick wins in the round 32 and round of 16. Now those weren't the best opponents. Now they're facing the 5 seed Siege Engine, quite an upgrade from their last 2 opponents, Snowball and Hammerhead. And Hypershock will have to get around to the side because there's no way they're winning a wedge-to-wedge collision with Siege Engine. I mean, really no bot is. But they have the speed to do so. They have had the luck. Saw what happened against Riptide, so even if they do start off on the back foot, don't count them out just yet. The 5 seed Siege Engine has also been on an incredible run. They just got their 10th win of their career, defeating Extinguisher in the round of 16. And Siege Engine is one of the fan favorites of the competition. It's got an incredibly low wedge. It's a front hinge flipper, which is very unique design, just like robot combat in general, I would say. They have not been completely unstoppable. They can't self-right, which is a major issue. And like all bots, they're not immune to getting thrown out of the arena, so it's all going to come down to if Siege Engine can get those front forks and the Hypershock, or if Hypershock can get around to the side. Let's find out what actually happens in the arena. Let the bot battle begin. The championship now underway. Siege Engine getting to the side of Hypershock early, but not able to really get underneath. And now with the wedges stalemate. That's very interesting. Hypershock's way lower than we thought, but Siege Engine gets underneath. But Hypershock gets to the side and escapes, gets the Siege Engine screws and throws them out of the arena. Unbelievable. Siege Engine started off with a little bit of advantage. Then it was a stalemate. Then Siege Engine got underneath Hypershock, tried to put in the screws. Well, Hypershock escaped. They got right around to the side of Siege Engine and jammed them into the screws. And when the screws reversed, Siege Engine went out of the arena. Hypershock's incredible run continues to the semi-finals. Hypershock secures the first place in the semi-finals with that massive upset over Siege Engine, getting their 7th win of the season. Next up, the 15th seed, the lowest seed left standing, and also the only rookie left standing. It's Manheim. They're taking on the number 7 seed, the channel mascot Nemesis. The 15th seed Manheim has gone from a decent bot to a very good bot in the course of the tournament. They only beat very big spinners without much ground game in the fight guards, but 2 fights in a row they've beaten bots with good vertical spinners and very low wedges being stormed out, and the number 2 overall seed, the other glitch. So Manheim is proving it can take on a lot of different designs. They're going back to facing a big horizontal spinner in the channel mascot Nemesis. And that is precisely who this bot is designed to face. We'll see if Manorhand's brickiness will be enough to survive, or Nemesis has just enough power to crack this seemingly unbreakable machine. If there is any bot that can crack the brick that is Manheim, it's gotta be the 7 seed Nemesis. They are one of the most powerful horizontal spinners in the entire competition. Their shell spinners that's been incredibly dangerous, though they have slowed down a bit with their performances in the tournament, taking some brutal shots from Riptide and then going a full 3-minute brawl against Monochrome, which they barely won. Nemesis is still arguably the most dangerous weapon in the entire field. It is durable, it is powerful. Neither bot's gonna, I don't think either bot is gonna be knocked out unless Nemesis gets the right angles. Let's see what happens down the arena. Let the box battle begin. Oh, what a deflection from Manor Ham. Nemesis has been flying, and again halfway across the arena. Nemesis nearly goes out of the arena with that shot. Manor Ham's wedge, the perfect counter. It seems Nemesis, there goes a part of the arena wall. Oh my god. Oh, all the screws were going the wrong way, I guess. Nemesis, oh my goodness, Nemesis goes flying, takes another chunk out of the arena wall. Nemesis does not have an answer for that wedge. He kind of gets boxed in, but he's able to escape. But Manheim's wedge just absorbs the shot on Sprinter again with another great deflection. Manheim gets underneath and flips them out of the arena. What a dominant performance by the rookie. Just perfectly designed to counter Nemesis. That horizontal shell sprinter could do no damage to the massive brick that was Manor Ham. And Manheim just deflected Nemesis around the arena and eventually got them in the corner and flipped them out of the arena. Now Nemesis takes its second loss in the quarterfinals to a flipper that is a lower seed than it. A very specific narrow, but it happened twice now. Two nickels game, I guess. Well, the 15 seed Manor Ham will advance to the semifinals as Nemesis gets knocked out of the tournament again. With another massive upset in the quarterfinals, the only rookie left standing, the lowest seed left standing as well, advances to the semifinals. Next up, we have the number 3 overall seed, the undefeated Bloodsport, taking on the number 6 seed, another one of last season's top 8, to see who gets into the semifinals. The number 3 overall seed Bloodsport, by the undefeated record, as you can tell, has been having a wonderful season, ripping apart Bombshell in the round of 32, and nearly getting knocked out against the 19 seed Duck in the round of 16, but they were able to pull off the win in the rematch there. Now they sit at a very good matchup for them. If Bloodsport can keep Whiplash away and avoid getting boxed in, then they are looking at a very easy knockout, just ripping Whiplash to shreds. Whiplash isn't the most durable bot. If Whiplash can get close, then Bloodsport might be having some problems. Whiplash has also been on a fantastic run, defeating the defending champion in the round of 32 like it was nothing, and then easily dispatching of the 11 seed Titan in the round of 16. They're looking for their 10th win of their career. We're heading into this fight, and if they can get close to Bloodsport, keep them jammed up, and prevent them from spinning that massive 3D printed blade, then this could be an easy win for Whiplash. But if Bloodsport is able to get away and just keep their distance, then Whiplash could find themselves in a lot of hurt. Let's see what happens down in the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Whiplash box rushing Bloodsport, with the forks of Bloodsport and the wedges of Whiplash stalemating the start. But Bloodsport's weapon isn't spinning. Bloodsport gets underneath though, and is able to escape, lands a nice shot to the side. Whiplash's wedge, they got underneath and land another brutal shot, this time to the inside. But Whiplash is able to finally get underneath and try and lift Bloodsport out of the arena. Something just fell out of Whiplash. Oh, that didn't look good. There's a big ram by Whiplash, but their wedge is gone and their lifter is ruined. And they take what's left of the wedge, takes another shot, and they're able to pin Bloodsport again. But Bloodsport able to escape. Oh my goodness, what's left of Whiplash's defense has been shattered. Bloodsport in the lead now. This looks like the beginning of the end of Whiplash's run, as Bloodsport might go 7-0 here, but Bloodsport gets flipped by Whiplash. Now they have to self-right. It takes a decent amount of time to get that self-righter fully functioning, and now Bloodsport is really trapped here, and this could be it. They're not moving, and Whiplash is backing away. What a comeback this would be by the number 6 overall seed. The countdown has started, and appears that Bloodsport will indeed be knocked out. Whiplash started off with a great box rush, but it was Bloodsport who got underneath. And without the ability to get underneath, Whiplash was in trouble until they actually did get underneath and they tried to throw move Bloodsport out of the arena, but the damage sustained from those first 2 shots must have been too much, as their lifter simply just fell apart. And then when they slammed Bloodsport into the opposite corner, their wedge must have broken too, leaving Whiplash basically defenseless. As Bloodsport continued to line up shots, they were able to remove what was left of Whiplash's defenses, and that spelled doom for the number 6 seed. However, Whiplash was able to stay close, get just as they needed to. They were able to stay close, and were able to flip Bloodsport using the screws, and that proved to be a pivotal moment in the fight. Without Bloodsport driving and using that weapon, Whiplash was able to force them into the space between the screw mount and the pit corner. That is something that is a lot of bots have struggled with, but this time Bloodsport simply could not get out. Another undefeated bot falls, and the former quarterfinalist and former wildcard is now one step closer to claiming the trophy. They'll have to go through the rookie Manor Ham before they can get to the finals. We'll see that fight later, as before that, we have the number 1 overall seed Sawblaze taking on the defending runner-up Tantrum. The number 1 overall seed Sawblaze has gone pretty much unchallenged in the bracket so far. They easily handled the 32 and 16 seeds in their respective rounds. And now they're taking on one of their toughest matches yet, a rematch with the 9 seed Tantrum. Now they're going to be using their big anti-horizontal plow for this fight. They have to use as much bandit force as possible. They tried to use their forks against Tantrum the last time they fought, and that didn't go so well. Tantrum completely dominated them and won a choice decision. We'll see if Sawblaze is truly able to get underneath Tantrum, because if not, it's gonna get pretty ugly. The number 9 seed Tantrum has also been on a pretty decent run. They completely dominated the defending 4th place Thunderbolt in the last round. And Tantrum is probably the best bot in terms of record and previous finishes here. They're currently 13-2, an astonishing record, and they're the defending runner-up, defending a 2nd place. So Tantrum is a very high-tier bot, clearly. And taking on Sawblaze, if they get underneath, they can pretty easily win. But if Sawblaze gets underneath, it's going to be a very interesting fight. Let's see who wins the final quarterfinal down the box. Let the bot battle begin. Tantrum spins to weapon, but Sawblaze gets underneath and drops the hammer saw. Sawblaze's weapon is not the most powerful by a long shot, but if they land it in some critical spots like that wedge and that self-rider, then it could do some serious damage. Remember, Sawblaze took off both of Tantrum's self-riders the previous time they met, and now they just flip Tantrum over with their hammer saw. That's very impressive. Now they're attacking the armor belt, very vulnerable spot. Tantrum, now they slam him into the wall. Sawblaze in complete control here. Now they get Tantrum into the screws. Tantrum is jammed up in there. Sawblaze with the sways back down for Tantrum, and they just scoop them up again. Complete domination. Sawblaze, Tantrum able to escape, but Sawblaze gets right back underneath and slams him. Oh my goodness, Tantrum is on his side. They cannot self-right from there. Sawblaze backing away. The countdown is started, and the number 1 overall seed will gain revenge over Tantrum and advance to the semifinals. Sawblaze completely dominated that fight. That big plow was completely the right choice. They just dominated the fight from start to finish. Tantrum did not land a single shot with their sprinter, which is kind of astonishing. Tantrum is such a good bot. The defending runner-up will get eliminated in the top 8. Still a pretty good finish, but I can imagine they have liked to have done better. But the number 1 seed Sawblaze, after getting knocked out in the round of 32 in Season 1, advances to the semifinals after beating Nemesis, Siege Engine, and Tantrum. What a season they've been having, and it continues as they march on to the top 4. With Sawblaze advancing, they will face the 4-seed Hypershock in the semifinals. That will be a clash of the only 2 undefeated bots left standing. But before that, the 15-seed Manorhand takes on the 6-seed Whiplash to see who is the first bot to advance to the final. The rookie Manheim is riding high after it dominated Nemesis in the quarterfinals. With back-to-back wins over top 8 bots, Manheim could be a shock contender for this tournament. They could very much win it all if they get through Whiplash. They could easily get through Sawblaze or Hypershock. They've got to get through Whiplash. And this is the first time Manheim is facing a true control bot. As you can see, there are some very slight gaps underneath those front wedge pieces of Manor Ham, and Whiplash's wedge is ever so slightly hinged by courtesy of the way it is attached. And so, it's very interesting to see if Manor Ham can get underneath or Whiplash will. As for the 6th seed, they were indeed able to repair after their brutal victory over Bloodsport. Almost said lost there, that's not right. They were able to repair the damage, and they are back in there. They also have some gaps on the legs, but it's ever so slightly angled to the ground because of the way it's built and the way it's attached. But they're still going with that big plow wedge thingy. Because that's what's worked for them this whole season. They beat Tantrum with it. They didn't beat Tantrum with it. They beat Tantrum with their standard configuration. They lost Nemesis with it, and then they beat every bot in their path remaining with that same wedge. 5 wins in a row, I think. Yeah, 5. Now it's going to be a really interesting wedge battle because whoever wins gets control and probably wins the fight. Let's see who is the first bot in the grand final down the arena. Let the semi-finals begin. Mannerheim gets a very tiny flip on Whiplash, but Whiplash gets around to the side, now gets underneath Mannerheim. Oh my goodness, sees it. Whiplash gets Mannerheim in the pits. Mannerheim got the first win in the exchanges, flipping Whiplash just a little bit, but Whiplash was able to get to the side, didn't really do anything with that, but then got underneath Mannerheim and lifted him up. So, just enough so that they slid down into the pit and knocking out the rookie and advancing to the finals. With Whiplash's stunningly quick victory over the 15th seed, they advanced to the finals 2 steps farther than they got in Season 1 as the 31 seed. And as for the rookie, it's been an incredible run, but it's cut short here. We will see them in the 3rd place playoff. This face the loser of our next match, the number 1 seed Sawblaze versus the number 4 seed Hypershock. The number 1 overall seed Sawblaze stands in the semi-finals after easily dispatching of the 9 seed Tantrum, but now it faces another incredibly tough opponent in the number 4 seed Hypershock. This will be the only clash of undefeated bots in the tournament, and I get the feeling this is going to be something special. Sawblaze is once again going with his big anti-base spinner plow, the same thing that brought success against Yeti and Tantrum earlier in the bracket. And if Sawblaze scoops up Hypershock, then it's probably all good for them, but if Hypershock gets underneath, once again, it could be brutal. Hypershock has been sitting pretty comfortably since the very first fight of the episode. They knocked out Siege Engine in a fairly quick but pretty close performance, and now they're called back up to take down the number 1 overall seed. Hypershock has been on a Cinderella run this episode. Well, not incredibly Cinderella, but still pretty dominant run throughout the bracket. And taking on Sawblaze, another incredibly tough opponent. And this fight is going to be a great fight to watch. Let's see how it turns out down in the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Hypershock spins up his drum and gets underneath Sawblaze. This could be huge. That looks like maybe a piece of the drum broke off. I don't think so. But now Sawblaze gets underneath. He's now trying to scoop up Hypershock. Yes, a piece of the drum has fallen out. But now Hypershock in the screws. Then now the screws reverse, but Sawblaze scoops them right back up. Can use that hammer saw to get a better angle. And now slams them out of the arena. Oh my goodness. Hypershock won the first exchange. That's the first time, I believe, Sawblaze has lost an exchange in this entire bracket. But Sawblaze just didn't care. They got underneath Hypershock, they put him in the screws, and they got an incredible ram to throw Hypershock out of the arena. It's a quick fight, but it's a brutal one between the two undefeated teams. But in the end, it's Sawblaze, the #1 seed, who advances to the grand final. With Sawblaze's triumph over Hypershock in the clash of the undefeateds, our final has been confirmed. The #1 overall seed Sawblaze takes on last season's wildcard, the #6 seed Whiplash. But before that, it's our third place playoff between the #4 seed Hypershock and the 15 seed rookie Manheim. For Hypershock, they may have fallen in the semifinals, but they have had an incredible comeback season. 0-3 during Season 1, but going all the way to the top 4 in Season 2 is just such an incredible performance. Now they fight for 3rd place, and now it's once again going to come down to the ground game as they take on Manorhand. They have a decently powerful weapon, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to really deliver some of the shots they landed earlier in the season. But they are glad to be here, and they are still going to fight for 3rd place. And Manor-Ham, the only rookie to not only make the quarterfinals, but to make the top 4. It's been an incredible season for the Finnish flipper. Their brick design has proven incredibly effective. Now they're also very happy with how far they made this season. They're also going to fight for 3rd place. I get them. It's going to be a great 3rd place playoff. Let's see what happens down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Hypershock smooths up Manheim, gets underneath, but Hypershock able to escape before the flipper can land a flip. Hypershock now gets inside Manheim, but Manheim now flips Hypershock over, landing the first attack of the 3rd place playoff. Oh, there's another great flip from Manheim. Hypershock is upside down. They can drive inverted. They're strong to pick up. They use the screws to do so, however. And they go right back on the attack, throwing Manheim into the screws now. But this time that wasn't intentional for the bot who wound up in there. And a piece of Manheim has come off. I think that's the first real damage they've ever suffered. I think it's the first piece that's ever come off. That's just a testament to how durable they are. And Hypershock not really landing their best shots with this weapon, but they are getting underneath and getting control. They push Manheim into these screws again and land another shot just as they come out. But Manheim flips Hypershock again. This is a great fight so far. Both bots struggling to get ahead. Neither bot brilliant win so far. But Manheim starting to get his own moments of control. What? That was kind of quick from Hypershock. Now getting to the side of Manheim. A great fight as this continues to go on. Hypershock gets underneath again. Really hard to tell who gets underneath. Manheim misses a flip there and gets underneath again. The wedge is very similar, it seems, and worn down. Manheim now flips Hypershock over. Hypershock tries self-right, yes, does again using the screws. Now Hypershock gets underneath again. Another great ram. Very close fight. Not sure who's winning this. Manheim now flips Hypershock yet again, and then does it. This quickly rights him. Hypershock just zooming around the arena and getting to the side of Manheim again. Very tough to tell who's winning this fight. But Manheim gets underneath again, gets another little flip. Hypershock landing another attack. Incredible 3rd place playoff. Both bots fighting with all they have. And now Hypershock really gets underneath Manheim, slams them into the wall twice to put them in 2 corners. And now Manheim gets underneath. What a flip. That's probably the best flip they've landed of the match so far. And another great shot. Manheim now. Okay. Oh my goodness. Hypershock out of the arena. What a brawl that was. Both bots gave it their all. There were no real super big shots. No bots were really sent flying. But that was just a battle of control. and it was a great one at that. Hypershock had the edge a little bit in the early stretches, even though Manor Ham landed the first attack. Both bots had similarly worn down wedges, so it's impossible to tell who would get underneath at what point. But Hypershock threw Manor Ham into the screws twice, but Manor Ham was able to flip Hypershock a couple of times. As both bots brawled with all they had, and for over 2 minutes of non-stop action, Manor Ham was able to gain the advantage in the end, and was able to land the right combination of attacks to throw Hypershock out of the arena. The rookie Manor Ham will take 3rd place in Season 2, and simply incredible, considering the second best rookie fell in the round of 16. Meanwhile, for Hypershock, they may have a total record of 7-5, but a 7-2 performance, 4th place in Season 2. They have proven to be a top competitor for the title. I can't wait to see more of them next season. They have had such an incredible bounce-back season after their brutal Season 1. Incredible showing from both of these bots, not just in this fight, but throughout the season. And that's not even the last fight of the episode. What a great 3rd place playoff, and well-deserved spots for both machines. With Manor Ham's victory over Hypershock, the Finnish flipper, the 15 seed, takes 3rd place, while Hypershock, the number 4 overall seed, takes 4th. But now it's the moment we've been waiting for at like 7 or 8 months. The grand final. The number 1 overall seed Sawblaze versus the 6th seed Whiplash. Who will go home in 2nd place, and who will take home the title? The number 1 overall seed Sawblaze has just been on a different level this season. 8 fights, 8 wins, and just absolute perfection during the tournament. They've only lost 1 exchange in 4 fights, and even the 4 seed Hypershock could barely slow them down. Now they take on arguably one of their greatest challenges yet, the number 6 seed Whiplash. In this fight, they will taken on 4 of last season's top 8 in this season alone. Sawblaze will actually be going with their forks for this fight. Very interesting, we're going back to their traditional forks to fight against the control bot of Whiplash. Let's see if those forks do well, or if the wedge configuration of Whiplash would prevail. It's once again all coming down to ground clearance. Whoever gets underneath gains control. Sawblaze has a more damaging weapon, even though it's not super great, but Whiplash does have the better controlling weapon. This fight's going to be a really interesting tactical battle. As for the 6th seed, it has struggled a little bit more, but it's still had an incredible season so far. 7 wins and only 1 loss to Nemesis, who is long gone. They're going to be using their wedge for this fight, as they have for most of their battles. So they've pretty much scrapped the spinner entirely for most of their fights. And it has done them incredibly well this season, giving them that extra oomph they needed to win so many fights. If they can get underneath, they can lift Sawblaze a lot more easier and dictate the pace. Sawblaze is more just a scoop-up control. The Whiplash has the more aggressive weapon, so I'd say they have the better chance of delivering a knockout here. But I feel like this is going to be just a great final, no matter what happens, no matter who wins. So let's finally see it, what actually happens. Who is your champion down in the arena? This is it. The final match of the season. Sawblaze, Whiplash. Who takes it all and wins Season 2 of Lego Battlebots? Let the championship begin! Sawblaze gets around to the side of Whiplash, pins them in the corner. They're trying to target that wedge with that hammer saw. If they can get that off, then this fight could be over in a hurry. Yeah, but Sawblaze, again, does not have the most powerful weapon, so that's going to be quite difficult, even for which is fairly weakly attached to Whiplash. Now Whiplash counters back with a little lift. Doesn't get too far, though. Sawblaze now scoops up Whiplash again. Another direct shot with that hammer saw, this time to the wheel. If he doesn't land one of those critical areas, try to focus on those. That hammer saw could very well be wasted hitting the wrong target. It's Sawblaze keeping control there, but now Whiplash now Sawblaze scoops him up again, really taking control this time around. Now trying to drop that hammer saw yet again on the wedge. They are hitting the wedge, but no real damage it seems. Now Whiplash gets underneath. It's a great back and forth between these two bots as Sawblaze nearly got on screws. Now Sawblaze just rams Whiplash into the screws without any problems. Whiplash able to get down, but now they are trapped against Sawblaze, a great control bot. And as you can see, it's not going super well for Whiplash start. Sawblaze, I think, has the edge at this point in this fight, well over a minute in. But Whiplash can turn things around in a hurry. That lifter is just oh so powerful. And you can see they get underneath again. They grab Sawblaze, trying to throw them into the screws. That's been the bane of Sawblaze's opponents. Will it be the bane of Sawblaze? Does not seem like it at this point. Sawblaze scoops up Whiplash again, dropping that hammer saw over and over again, but failing to land that critical shot to rip off the wedge. Sawblaze's forks have worked incredibly well this fight, even though they're very worn down. Oh, there goes a chunk out from underneath Whiplash, I believe. Now Sawblaze scoops up and just jams Whiplash into the screws. Whiplash is able to escape, but that piece, yes indeed, that piece is from the left side drive of Whiplash. It's not going to break it, but it's going to make things a lot more difficult for Whiplash to outmaneuver Sawblaze. And Sawblaze just scoops up Whiplash again. Those forks have been working incredibly well, but Whiplash getting underneath more than enough times to find that right angle, it seems. But they have complete control of Sawblaze here, and now Sawblaze is up on the screws. It was Whiplash. Sawblaze quickly comes down, but Whiplash just flips them back over. What a comeback charge that Whiplash is on here. But there you go. You see him slow down, cause some damage. And now there goes the wedge. Sawblaze has its breakthrough, and Whiplash is in a load of trouble right now. They have no way to get underneath Sawblaze from the front. And there's another brutal ram from Sawblaze. He's taking control completely in the final stages of this fight. And this Whiplash on the screws one last time, as this championship final will go to a judge's decision between Sawblaze and Whiplash. And what a final it was. Now both bots' fates lay in the hands of the judges. Sawblaze took control fairly early, scooping up Whiplash, getting around to the side. They were just outmaneuvering Whiplash for most of that fight. Dropped hammer saw shot after hammer saw shot on that wedge, trying to break it, but couldn't seem to do it in the first parts of this fight. Whiplash did have some moments of control throughout the fight, but it was Sawblaze getting the advantage for most of the time, and keeping Whiplash pinned to the wall and unable to do anything. But any one of these attacks from Whiplash could have resulted in a devastating combo that could have ended up with Sawblaze being knocked out. Fortunately for them, that did not happen, and they were able to quickly counter in this scenario, putting Whiplash on the screws for the first time in the fight. Not missing with the hammer though. Don't really know why I tried him. Whiplash landing another counter attack here. They were on the defensive for most of this fight. They were able to get Sawblaze into the screws once. They had some moments of control, but for the most part, it was Sawblaze dominating the action. This was not as close as Hypershock v Manor Ham, but it was definitely a fairly close final. You see there, a piece comes out from under the left side of Whiplash. I don't even know how that happened, but that weakened Whiplash's drive, causing them to slow down for the fight, and then Sawblaze just rammed them into the screws right after. That hammer saw has been sneakily effective at getting bots in the right position for Sawblaze to control, but even after that damage had happened, Whiplash was still able to gain some edge and get underneath Whiplash. Not get underneath Whiplash, get underneath Sawblaze. And so Sawblaze quickly followed that up. And here we see Whiplash getting underneath again. If that lifter had just fired a little later, who knows what could have happened. But now, here's the parts where they get Sawblaze onto the screws. Here's the part where they get Sawblaze onto the screws. Whiplash put up one hell of a fight, despite the fairly consistent control from Sawblaze. They were able to flip Sawblaze over, something that Sawblaze was not really able to do with Whiplash, but here was the death blow for Whiplash. Well, not quite the death blow, but it turned the fight heavily in favor of Sawblaze. The wedge falling off, giving huge damage points to Sawblaze, and allowing Sawblaze to completely dominate the controlled battle afterwards. The winner and your champion by an 11-4 judges' decision is the #1 seed Sawblaze! So there you have it, folks. Season 2 concludes with the #1 overall seed Sawblaze completing a perfect 9-0 run to win the title with an epic judge decision win over Whiplash. It's been another incredible season here at Ballistics Test Robotics, and we will see you again for Season 3.